Welcome back to Knuckle Sandwich MMA. Oh my goodness, we've got Nando in the house. Let's see if I can do this right. Bam! I got it right that time. All right, we got Nando in the house. You're as one of your hosts, and I am your co-host, Alex. And we're glad to have you guys back. Oh man, we've been waiting for this. Nando was talking about it last week. This upcoming card, UFC 281. It's Adesanya versus Pereira. And this fight card is stacked from top to bottom. There's some great fights here. We got a lot to cover, Nando, in a short period of time. All right. Tell me your thoughts basically overall of how excited are you for UFC 281?
Well, it's always exciting when they go to New York, when they're in Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's some of the greatest boxing. I remember watching wrestling, being there. Whenever they go there, whatever it is, they want to make it big and they want to make it exciting. And I think there's some fighters that are from New York, but most of them, aren't from New York, and they're, it's a big deal to be there. It was just legalized, maybe 10 years ago?
Yeah, not too long ago. Yeah. And, in Madison Square Garden, you're right. It is a epic to even attend an event there to say, hey, I went to see this at Madison Square Garden. Pretty cool, man. And there's some East Coast boys, New Jersey. We got some people that we'll talk about a little bit. But we got a lot to cover. There are, I believe, 13 bouts on this card. Is that what you got, Nando?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have them written down, but yeah, I mean, I have like 3 or 4 pages of notes.
Yeah, there's 13, so we're good to go. All right. Well, we're going to start from the bottom to the top and go through. And Nando, as usual, if you see a particular match that strikes you and want to talk about, let's do it. But we like to include everybody on our podcast, all these fighters, because of the hard work that they put in. We want to recognize them. So here we go. First off, starting us on the prelims is Carlos Uberg versus Nikolai Nurmagomedov. I think that's how you pronounce it. And we've got Carlos as a minus 125 and a plus 105 for Nikolai. What do you got there? Anything there?
I got Carlos is 31. He's 5 of 1. He's 4 of the last 5. He's a contender series guy. Nicole, is that how you say his name? 28. He's 13 of 1. He's 4 of 5. He's a freestyle wrestling background. And then Carlos is a contender alumni.
Okay. All right. So let's do something a little bit different this time. Although on the way up to the top, let's pick our winners. Who do you got?
Oh, and this one? Okay. Let me go with Carlos.
Carlos? I'm going to go with Carlos too. So see, you guys know a lot of this stuff isn't scripted that we're doing, okay? His stats are scripted because he needs to remember all those numbers. And I don't know what he's looking for. He's looking for something over there. You okay, Nando?
Yeah, looking for my pencil. Because usually I mark down.
He's looking frantically for his pencil. While he's doing that, I'm going to have a drink of my coffee.
I don't know where it is. Hold on 1 second.
But so yeah, we're just, as you can tell, we don't have this thing scripted or anything. We test each other and ask each other questions, and that's kind of fun, and that's how we do it. So while he's getting a pencil. Did you find a pencil? Okay, so we both got Carlos on that one. I'm gonna move on to the next one as he's writing that down. We've got Julio Arce versus Montel Jackson. There's no odds posted on UFC.com website, so I don't have any odds to give you. What are your comments on this particular fight, Nando?
Julio Arce is 33. He's 18 of 5. He's 3 of the last 5. He has a loss to Song Yadong, Hakeem Dawodu, and his last fight was a win. Montel Jackson's 30. He has 11 of 2. He's 4 of 5. He has a win streak of 2.
All right. And who do you got on this fight?
Let me look at him real quick. I'll go with Montel.
You got Montel? Okay, better mark this down. I'm going with Julio.
Okay, Montel. Fernando. Okay.
All right. Next up, we have one of the fighters that I really like, and that's Michael Trezano versus Seungwoo Choi. And we've got a plus 135 for Trezano and a minus 155 for Choi. Who do you got on this one? What's their stats?
The stats are Michael Trezano is 9-2. He's 205. He has a loss to Lucas Armeda, Hakeem Davidou, Grant Dawson. He's on a loss streak right now. Choi is 29. He's 10-5. He's 3-5. He has a loss streak of 2. So they're both coming off of losses. I don't know a lot about either one of them, but I'm going to go with Choi.
I'm going to go with Choi, although I like Trezano. Troy's got about a 3.5-inch reach, and he knows how to use it. He knows how to use that. But Trezano, man, he's a great fighter. But I'm going to have to go with Choi on that one. All right, let's move on up. But we got Carolina Kowalets. I can't remember how to pronounce it.
Oh man, I forgot. Like it's almost like Kowalski, kind of the way you say her name.
Yeah, Carolina. We'll just go with Carolina. Everybody knows Carolina. She's been in the UFC for a long time, and she's fighting Silvana Gomez Juarez. And Juarez has got a minus 105 in her favor, and a plus 115 for Carolina. What do you got there?
Carolina is one of my favorites. She's fought for the title. She's fought in everybody. She, I think her last fight was against Michelle Watterson. I don't know if I have it written down, but she's 37. She's 13-7. She's 1 of 5. She's on a 5-loss streak. Wait, she had a 5-loss streak and then she had a win. So her last fight was a win. Silva Gomez is 37, 11-4, 3-5. Her last is a win. It's really hard on this one because Carolina's good, but sometimes she doesn't fight to her potential. You know what I mean? I mean, she was in that war with Joanna, and then she kind of like lost a lot of her steam. So I'll probably go with Silvana Gomez.
Okay, and I agree with you on that one because Carolina is she doesn't move her head. She takes a lot of big shots, and she's tough as nails. She's a good striker too. I think her only problem is she does not move her head, and she takes a lot of shots. And when you start to rock her, she doesn't recover very well. So she just kind of just starts to, just disintegrate right before your eyes, and you just see, you hit her with a couple more shots, and man, that's almost it. I've seen a lot of stoppages with her last fights, just because she just, I think if she moves her head quite a bit more and has better footwork this time, she could win this fight, obviously. But I'm going to go also with Silvana Gomez Juarez.
Okay, we're green in the beginning. I don't think this is going to end like this, but
Next up, we have a Matt Frivola versus Otman Azatar. And if you guys aren't familiar with Otman Azatar, he's the guy that was busted at Abu Dhabi, sneaking into one of the fighters' condos with a bag, the mysterious bag. He jumped the outside deck and crossed over to get into this room undetected, but they caught him and they booted him. And they actually kicked him out of the UFC, but somehow he got back in. But nobody knows. And in fact, at the press conference, all the reporters were asking this dude what was in the bag. And he didn't fess up, man. He did not fess up. So that's a very intriguing. But they booted him. He came back. He fought his way back, and he's fighting Matt Frivola, and we've got a minus 145 advantage for Frivola and a plus 125 for Ottman. What you got there?
Well, Matt Frivola, like we said, he's 32, 9 of 3, 3 of 5. He is an East Coast boy. He's from Saralonga fight team. And Ottman is 32, 13 and 0. He has a 13 fight win streak. But those Longo Sarah guys are no joke. I know Sarah's in there messing them around and, beating them up. So, I don't think, but Ottman does have the streak. I don't know. So was he kicked out because he was fighting or?
No, because he broke the rules, and nobody's saying what was in the bag, but he literally was sneaking in, and they caught him.
Oh man.
That's why he was kicked out. He broke the rules, and they didn't like that in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ottman on this one.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Frivola on this one, just because I didn't like the shady underpinnings of the Ottman affair, as it's well known. or maybe I just coined that phrase. The Ottman. Okay, underpinnings. There we go. So I'm going to go with Frivola on that one. But I do think Ottman, I think he's probably going to win this one. But, you see how we switch sides, guys? Okay. Mm-hmm. You remember back in the day, Nando's always like, I go for the underdog, man, all the time. I'm an underdog guy. And yet he hasn't been doing it lately. Why? Why, you ask? Because he's been losing a lot of those matches. All right, now we're getting up to the main card. Well, that was the early prelims. Now we're getting up to the prelims, and this one is an intriguing matchup. We've got Andre Petrovsky versus Wellington Turman, and we've got a minus 205 for Petrovsky with a plus 175 for Turman. What's your thoughts on this particular fight, Nando?
Petrovsky's 31. He's 8-1, 4-5. He's from Henzo Gracie Philly affiliate. Wellington Turman is 26. He's 3-5, 18-5. He has a win over Sam Alvary, but there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have wins over Sam Alvary. No offense, sorry, Sam. If you want to come on here,
we love you, Sam.
We would love you to come on. But I'm gonna go with Petrovsky.
We part ways once again. I'm gonna go with Turman. I've seen him fight. Both of these guys are really good fighters. They're very strong, and there could be knockout potential any way you go. They both have great ground games. Petrovsky's got a great wrestling and grappling pedigree, whereas Turman is really good with jiu-jitsu. So I think they're going to cancel each other out. The reason why I'm picking Turman, Nando, is because I've seen Petrovsky gas. I have not seen Turman gas. So if this goes 3 rounds, the longer it goes, the more I give it to Wellington. So that's my reasoning for that one. All right, next up, we've got Erin Blanchfield versus Molly McCann. And the odds on these are pretty widespread. We've got minus 380 for Blanchfield and a plus 310 for McCann. Now, that surprises me. I got to tell you that much. What's your thoughts on this matchup?
Okay, well, Molly the Meatball is 15 and Erin is 12. It's 13-4, 3-5 for McCann. She's on a 3-fight win streak. She has 2 spinning elbows and the fight Next Generation. She's from the Patty Pimlet team. And once Patty got in and started fighting on the same card, it's been real lucky for her. We'll see how she does without a fight card with Patty on it. Now, Erin Blanchfield's 23. She's 9-1. She's on a 6-fight win streak. She is an EBI champion, and if you don't know what that is, that's the Eddie Bravo Invitational. So she's a submission only grappling tournament. So she won the whole thing. So I mean, her jiu-jitsu's got to be at the top, because those people in the submission teams, there's Danaher, Death Squad, there's these teams all over, and they are really good. So I mean, McCannon's got to watch this fight, because if she gets to the ground, it's different than someone that's going to grapple her. She's going to let Molly do whatever and just try to sink her into something. So I mean, I'm gonna go against the wave with everybody. I'm gonna go with Aaron on this one.
You're gonna go with Aaron? Okay. You stole my thunder, my friend. I'm going with Aaron too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm
Is
going
it
with
the
her
same
simply.
reason?
Well, just simply for the fact that she's got more opportunities on the ground, and Molly's been known to been taken down several times, and really not able to get up against a decent grappler. So you have a premier, even though she's younger, quite a bit younger, winning the Eddie Bravo Invitational is a big deal. There's a lot of talent there. But I see her, you know, in watching some of her past highlights, that armbar, man, is wicked. And I think she's going to drop that on Molly McCann. She's going to get her down to the ground. And I think Molly McCann, she's going to have to end this in the first round if she's going to win. She's going to have to do a knockout. She needs a knockout or a TKO. But I'm going to go with Blanchfield on this one as well. Ooh, next up, here we go. Here we go. It's getting excited, my friend. I'm getting stoked. My hat. If you guys haven't noticed, I'm wearing a cowboy hat. Okay. And no, I did not buy this for the podcast. And I'm surprised and almost shocked that Nando has not made a comment about the hat. Okay. I'm really surprised about that. But we're getting started. We have the guy who's been out for a little bit. Okay, Dominic Reyes, who is I believe he's still a contender, isn't he? He's still considered a contender.
He's ranked 7th right now.
Okay,
so
but
he's still in the mix.
He's the one that fought John Jones, and I believe he won that fight. Okay, I believe that he should have got the nod on that one. There was a flurry in the 5th round that John Jones came back and looked really good, and I think that's what tipped him to, you know, in the judge's eyes, to win that fight. But I thought Dominic Reyes won at least 3 of the 2 rounds on that fight. So, but he got his soul snatched on that one, because he was heartbroken when they raised John Jones' arm, and then all of a sudden, you know, he wasn't looking so good, and he was getting battered. In that jury fight, you know, he got the snot kicked out of him, man. I felt bad for him, because I thought there was some permanent damage there. They waited a little too long to stop that fight. But he's fighting Ryan Spann, who's been on a little win streak himself. But Dominic Reyes is still favored at -215 against Stan, who is a +185. Your thoughts on this fantastic matchup, Nando?
Well, Dominic Cruz, like I said, is ranked 7th. He's 32. He's 12-3. He's on a 3-loss win streak, but he was 12-0. And then he went John Jones, and then he went John Blachowicz, and then he went Yuri. But I mean, he still has an explosive style. If he can get in there and get back to what made him good, then he can possibly win this, because his style is really good. He's very athletic. He has a football background, so he has quick, explosive movement. Ryan Spann is 20-7, 3-5. He lost to Anthony Smith and Johnny Walker, but he has wins over Ion
Cutelaba, yeah.
Yeah, and then Sam Alvey, another person that
Sam Alvey, come on, bro.
Yeah. I think Dominic Cruz gets back on the horse in this one, and I think he's going to go in there. I don't blink. I think this is going to be a fast fight. I think they're going to go in there, and he's going to implement what he needs to implement in this fight.
So you're going with
Dominic Reyes.
Reyes? Okay, I'm going with Reyes as well. I have the highest confidence, especially after watching his interview, saying, you know, he went to a sports psychologist and got some things straightened out in his brain, and working on some new stuff with this long layoff, some new surprises, and you know, but he's been out a while, so he's got a little uphill battle to go, but I think he still pulls it off. All right, next up we got Brad Riddell versus Renato Moicano. And this is going to be an exciting fight because both of these dudes are scrappers, man. They come to bang and bang hard. We've got a plus 105 for Riddell and a minus 125 for Moicano. So that's pretty close. I mean, it's not that big of a spread. So the betting people are saying this is going to be kind of a, I don't want to say a coin flip, but kind of a coin flip on who's going to win this one. What's your thoughts?
I think Brad Riddell is 10 of 3. He's 3 of 5. He has a 2-fight loss streak. He's a kickboxer from New Zealand. Renato is 16 of 5, 3 of the last 5. He has fought everybody. When I mean he fought everybody, I just didn't write down everybody, but he's fought everybody you can think of. And he's really a veteran in this. And I'm gonna go with Renato in this one, but I think it can go either way.
Yeah, I agree. Well, one thing, I'm still on the fence on this. I'm going to pick one, but I haven't decided at this exact moment because I look at Moicano. He's taken some beatings in the last few fights. You know, he's taken some really big headshots, bloodied up. You know, battles, really big wars. But I've seen Riddell gas out too. He's got a lot of power and he's very exciting to watch. Both of these guys are super exciting to watch, but I've seen him gas. I've seen him, you know, get tired. He spends all of his fuel in the first round, wants to get that down. And I know that if it goes to the ground, Moicano's going to win this fight because I don't know. I just don't think Riddell has the gas tank that's needed to beat Moicano. So I'm going to go with Moicano as well.
Okay.
All right, now we are at the main card, and I've got a huge question for you, Nando, and I hope you can answer it because if not, then I'm going to be sorely disappointed in you.
What?
You ready?
Okay.
Okay, we've got Dan Hooker versus Claudio Puelles, and we got Dan Hooker at a minus 155 and a plus 135 for Claudio. So here's my question. I love Dan Hooker. Okay. I think he's a really exciting fighter, but I'm asking this question. How did he get on this card? I think Izzy said, you got to bring my boys. If I'm coming from New Zealand, you got to bring my boys because he's coming off a loss. And I think he's had like 3 losses in a row or something like that. So that's my question to you, Nando. Oh, great Nando. Okay.
Well,
why is he on this card?
Because he's from City Kickboxing, and there's already, I think the guy from New Zealand is Brad Riddell from also City Kickboxing. Yeah, so they're bringing them all together. I mean, Dan Hooker is a good fighter. He lost to Michael Chandler, Islam, and Arnold Allen. He didn't lose to any scrubs. I mean, he's still in there, but he's got to get a win. I don't think they get rid of him if he loses, but he's losing his luster, as I like to say. He's 32. He's 21 and 12. He's 1 of 5. Oh, I didn't see that part. 1 of 5, so maybe worse than I thought. Great hands, great setups. He needs to take his time on this fight. He needs to not get so aggressive. Yes, he has flying knees. Yes, he has hands. But that's why he gets in trouble, because he lets it all out there and he doesn't fast forward the tape. So Claudio is 26. He's 12 of 2. He's on a 5-fight win streak. He's from Sanford MMA. He's an Ultimate Fighter, Latin America 3 finale. He has great knee bars, great grappling. His fight against Jordan Levitt It was amazing. I forgot that one and I watched it. I don't know. I think Dan Hooker is in some bad shape with this fight because I think I'm going to go with Claudio on this one.
Okay, and I'm going with Claudio as well. I'm going with Claudio. And I agree 100% with your analysis on both fighters. I think Hooker gets too aggressive and gets careless, and he leaves that chin out, man, and he gets tagged hard. But I think Claudio has the ground game to put this fight away. So I'm going to go with Claudio as well. But I'm thinking, like I mentioned, I think Izzy said, I'm bringing my boys. Let's get them on the card because there's no reason why Dan Hooker should be fighting at Madison Square Garden on a card this big. Being, what did he, is he 3? He's down 3 losses in a row.
Yeah, I think he had a loss, a win, and then 3 losses.
Oh, is that right? Okay. That makes it a little bit better for me, I guess. All right, let's move along. We got Frankie Edgar versus Chris Gutierrez. And Frankie, this is a big thing. This is a big deal. This is his last fight. He's retiring after this fight, and they gave him a killer, man. Chris Gutierrez is a killer. He's got some of the nastiest leg kicks in the UFC, in my opinion. He got some nasty leg kicks. But he's at Gutierrez is at a minus 205, sizable to Frankie Edgar's plus 175. Edgar at the press conference, he said, I'm coming to win. I don't come just to finish this out and grab a paycheck. I want to win. I want to go out on top. And it was cool because they paid quite a bit of tribute to Frankie Edgar as being in the game for so long and really being a mainstay of the UFC as one of the most exciting fighters that they've ever had on their roster. He is always exciting to watch. And one of the greatest fights were, well, the 2 fights were him and Gray Maynard. Some of the greatest comebacks and back and forth that I've ever seen in the UFC. And so hats off to Frankie Edgar as this being his last fight. However, I think I'm going to go with Gutierrez on this one. I think he's going to leg kick him into New Jersey.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because what I'm going to say, I think that you have to think Frankie Edgar's been in all these fights, and you got to have some compassion. You have to have some heart, and you got to go with your boy and, not turn your back on him. This is a guy that deserves our respect, and I don't see how someone could go against him. Shame. No, I'm gonna go with him. I think the style. Gutierrez fights long. He moves forward, and he's always trying to counter. And I think Frankie Edgar is small, but the thing I did right about it is his style does not translate to him being older. His style was a good style for him being young and being small, but now he's in a weight class where everybody's the same height and size. His speed doesn't come up, and his speed stops since he being older. But I'm gonna go with Frankie. This might be a loss for me, but I'm going with Frankie.
All right. Well, I don't blame you. I think I have a lot of respect for Frankie, and I'm not saying that just because you shame me like that. But
no, I mean that BJ Penn fight was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great fight. But Frankie, like I said, man, he's been a mainstay. He's been a great champion. He's been he carries himself very, very well, and that's what I appreciate about Frankie. But you gotta make way for the new blood, and what better way than to send Frankie out with the loss for Gutierrez, because he's still got a long way to go. So this is going to be a big win for him if he wins. All right, let's move along here. We've got Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler. And Poirier is at a minus 175 with Chandler at a plus 150. Give me your thoughts, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it.
Oh, I get to go first. Okay. Michael Chandler's 36. He's 23-7. He's 204. He's in the UFC. So he has wins over Tony, Dan Hooker, lost to Justin Gaethje and Charles Oliveira. He has lots of pressure. He needs to keep it basic with his left, right, and then I mean he and Dustin when they swing wide. They have like these wide punches, and then Michael Chandler shoots down the middle. Sometimes he punches down the middle, but it's always big, big haymakers, and they're both from not AT&T, American Top Team. They're 28-7. He's 3-5. He has losses to Khabib, Oliveira's, double wins over Connor, Dan Hooker. His last fight was a loss to Oliveira. He's from Eves. He was trained jiu-jitsu under Eves Edwards, Thug Jitsu. He keeps it long. He has wide swings. The thing about it is his jiu-jitsu is very underrated. So if it does, Chandler says he is going to take him to the ground. It might not be the best idea to take him to the ground because people don't realize how great his jiu-jitsu is. And he it's a tough pick because I mean Michael Chandler does seem to be in Poirier's head, but when people are in his head, that's when he fights the hardest. So man, I'm gonna go with my boy Chandler.
Chandler, oh, you did all this analysis on Poirier, and then you picked Chandler.
Because I was trying to convince myself.
I like that, man. That was good. Okay, so let me give you my thoughts on this. Great analysis, by the way. Yeah, Poirier. I think if it keeps standing on the feet, Poirier does win this fight. Chandler is known for his. I think he's a A1 champion wrestler, but he doesn't use a lot of wrestling. And I think he's going to use more wrestling in this fight because he saw how Poirier lost to Oliveira just with even though it was jiu-jitsu, but he was working his back. And he just seems to not have as great a ground game, in my opinion. But again, you haven't seen it from Chandler since he's been in the UFC. The ground game, but I think he's going to pull out a couple of tricks from his old wrestling days and start trying to take him to the ground because I think I'm looking at the reach. The reach is right there, except for the leg reach. And Poirier's got some great kicks, man. I think his kicks are more devastating than Chandler's kicks. So Chandler would have to get in, but I think if he takes it down, this fight is Chandler's. I am going to go with Poirier though.
That's because of the hot sauce. I knew it.
All right. Next up, we got the. I don't understand all the hate on this one for Carla Esparza, but we got Carla Esparza versus Zhang Weili, and there's no odds listed on this one, oddly enough. But we got the champ as Carla Esparza, and she was booed at Madison Square Garden. And they're cheering on, Weili. And I'm like, okay, it's just because of the last performance of Carla Esparza and Rose Namajunas. But neither one of them were willing to dance. So you can't just put it all on Carla, and because she's a champ, she's going to catch all the hate. Whereas Rose remains in the background, kind of quiet and waiting her and biding her time. But that was a terrible performance by both. Carla did win that one, and because of the takedowns in the fight, and that's the reason because there were very few punches thrown. But at the same time, she's the champ. She came back and won the belt again, which is awesome. And Weili is, everybody's, just high on her because of her strength and her quickness and this and that. And so I'm going to go against the greatest odds probably, and I'm going to stick with Carla Esparza. I think she's going to wrestle her, and I think she's going to keep her on the ground, and she's going to win by a decision.
Good decision. Okay, Carla Esparza is 35. She's 19-6. She's on a 6-fight winning streak. She has wins over Rose, Jan, Marina Rodriguez, Michelle Waterson, Alexa Grasso. Her hands are okay, but she needs to mix it up. She needs pressure. The Rose fight was a bad outing, but I was watching a lot of her fights. She has very good pressure, but Weili is 33, 22 of 3 of 5, last win. She has 2 losses to Rose. That's her kryptonite is Rose. 2 wins over Joanna. She has Jessica Andrade. She's from Fight Ready. Henry Cejudo's getting her ready for the wrestling. I mean, he says, I'm not having these girls go in there with her. I'm pushing her down and I'm showing her myself what's going to happen. If she can get out of this stuff, then she's going to. I hope he doesn't overwork her, but, you know, she has great berserker style. She has that plum. She's like a Sancho kickboxing. Sancho kickboxing is more of like related closer to kung fu than like, you know, like North American kickboxing are. But, you know, I hope she didn't pull something trying to pick up Francis and show how strong she is. But oh man, I'm gonna go against you. I think Carla's got a good chance, but I'm gonna go against you because I like to.
Okay. And you know, and the other thing too is I think if they keep the fight standing, Weili's got it. She's gonna, you know, plow right through Carla. But I don't think Carla's gonna want to take that beating like she did from Joanna. You know, when she won the first, she was the first belt holder in that division, coming off a tough and then getting just annihilated by Joanna. I don't think that's she's learned from that. She's not that ain't going to happen again. So, but I do think if they keep it on the feet, it's going to be Weili's fight. However, when they go to the ground, okay, Henry Cejudo could say, I'm training her for this, that, and the other. But unless you've been wrestling your whole career, you don't know, man, until you get there. And if you feel like you can't get up, panic starts to set in, and you're going to see a little bit of panic on Weili's face. You watch. You're going to see panic on her face, and she's on the ground and going, okay, I'm strong. I picked up Francis Ngannou. How come I can't get this girl off me? All right, you guys, we are here. We have arrived. Okay. It's been a fun card talking about it and discussing it so far, Nando. But now we are at the fight that everyone's been waiting for. We have Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. And we have got pretty close odds on this one. This is for the middleweight championship belt. Adesanya is putting it on the line. He's at a minus 165 to a plus 140 for Pereira. Give me your thoughts on this, and let's dissect this potential barn burner.
Okay, so Israel's 33. He's 4 of 5, 23 of 1. His loss was to Jan Blachowicz. He fights to his opponent's how his opponent presents themselves. Now, sometimes people say that's good. They said this fight against Cannonier was boring, but Cannonier is the challenger, and that's exactly what he's going to have to do against Pereira. So Izzy is faster, he has better movement, but Alex Pereira, a 6 of 1. He's a 5-fight win streak. His first fight was his only loss. He beat Israel in kickboxing, but that's kickboxing. That's not the UFC, and that was 2017. He trains with Glover Teixeira, but I don't think he's really gonna do any jiu-jitsu or any grappling. He's waiting to counter against a lot of his fighters. Like the Sean Strickland fight, he was waiting to counter. He needs to push the action and realize he's the challenger. He's talking and going in there like he thinks he's already won because he beat him. Yeah, he beat him in kickboxing. Kickboxing is not the same thing. And everybody's looking at the Sean Strickland fight. You should be looking at the Bruno Silva fight. Bruno Silva fight, he barely won. It went all 3 rounds, and people are like not remembering that. But I mean, Bruno was taking him down. Bruno's not the greatest grappler, but he was taking him down at will, and he possibly could have won. It was a split decision. So I think people are not they're underestimating Izzy because Izzy does seem nervous. I mean, even in the interview, he seemed a little. He goes, "I have everybody. I have this," and he likes to talk. And then he's like, "Well, you're gonna have nobody when it's just you and me." And then he got kind of a little quiet, and he seemed like a little, he didn't know what to say. But I think Izzy is faster, and he's gonna fight the smarter fight. He's gonna make Alex come to him. He's gonna faint a lot. He's gonna be a lot quicker than Alex, but it's anybody's fight. Now people are saying Alex doesn't deserve this fight, but you got to look at Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva beat Chris Lieben, and they got a title fight, and everybody thought that Rich Franklin was the greatest guy in that thing, and then he went in there and just demolished Rich Franklin both times, broke his nose. So I mean, I'm gonna let you talk. I'll still pick first, but you give your thoughts.
Okay. So this one is a super interesting fight. Does history mean anything? Yes, absolutely it does. And you can see how both of them, during a lot of their interviews, were trying to convince themselves. Is he saying, "Hey, I was winning those fights, before I got knocked out. I was winning that fight before I lost." So you're trying to convince yourself that. What did you say on the last fight? That your kryptonite. He's got to fight off that thought that Alex Pereira is his kryptonite, right? He's got to fight it off, and so he's trying to convince himself by the things that he's saying. Likewise, on the flip side of that coin, Pereira is doing the same thing. He's saying, "Dude, I knocked him out. I beat him twice. What are you talking about?" And so they're both coming at these different angles. But what's going to happen, in my opinion, is they're going to lock like this, man. And it's either going to be a really boring fight because they're both waiting to counter. Okay. And I don't think Adesanya is going to allow that to happen because he took a lot of ridicule in his last fight. And that he's not exciting anymore. He doesn't bring it. He's too cautious. He's too worried about losing the belt. And there was an article I read somewhere, and I don't know if you read this, Nando, but he said he was backstage of his last fight crying because of the way the crowd booed and everything like that, but also that he just wasn't living up to that potential of what he felt he should have done. So I think there's a possibility that can happen. And we've seen it time and time again, Nando, where you have some of the biggest fights in UFC history and they're duds, and we don't want that, we don't want that to happen. But I guess if I were in his shoes and I was the champ and I was thinking, okay, all I have to do is keep my distance, move around and let the clock run out and I'll retain my belt, and live to fight another day. Yeah, that's gonna. But see, he's got that specter of Alex, that he's got 2 wins over me. You know what I mean? Floating in the background, regardless, because even as you said it, that was kickboxing. This is MMA, but he still has 2 wins over him, and that ain't you don't erase that. The only way you erase it, okay, is to knock Alex Pereira out. That is the only way to stop that conversation from ever happening again, because especially if he does it in the first round or does it in the first couple of rounds and he knocks him out stone cold, then that conversation's over. He'll never have to face that again. However, if he loses, Pereira's already saying, "I'll give him an immediate rematch." That's got to weigh in your brain, even if you're Adesanya, because Adesanya is pretty, he's cool as a cucumber, cold as ice, when it comes to emotions. But I think that's just a front. I think he has a really good poker face. Like you said, he was acting a little nervous. He wasn't as boisterous and flamboyant as he normally is. He was more subdued, and Pereira never changes. He's just got this one look. He's just got this one stony look. And that's wherever you see him, that's how he looks. And So you got all these psychological things going in the background. Now, how do you translate all those battles of the mind going into facing each other and knowing all these things about each other? And trying to convince yourself of all these types of things. That's a lot of pressure, man. I think both guys have a lot of pressure. Being the champ, you always have more pressure of keeping that belt. But I think the reason why Adesanya was so subdued this time around is because I think he is feeling the pressure.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with Izzy, but I think Izzy's gonna win it in the third. I don't think it's gonna be the beginning. I think he's gonna download all the data. You know, Alex does hit hard, but he's not as fast as Izzy. And the way they do those kickboxing tournaments, it's a lot different than like not just the grappling, but the aspect of where they can move and the movement they can do. Like I mean, he could even do capoeira if he wants to, and he can do kicks. I think he's not. I hope it's not like he gets leg checked and breaks his leg like Anderson Silva or anything. But I hope he pressures him. They get against the cage, put him against the cage. But I don't know. Alex is a pretty big guy. And if Glover's push him against the cage, it's going to be nothing. But I'm still going to go with Izzy.
Okay.
I got that locked in.
You are locked in. All right. I am going to go. I think we're going to see a new champion.
Do you think so?
I think we're going to see a new champion.
And then you think he fights Izzy again?
Yes, I think he'll give him. Well, he has to give him an immediate rematch unless it's just a slaughter. If he goes in there, which I doubt highly, if he goes in there and walks right through Izzy and just beats him to a pulp, I don't see an immediate rematch. But I think if it's close or even a TKO, there's a good possibility. Plus, if he retains the belt or if he gets the belt, he's going to want Izzy again because that's a big payday, man. That's a lot of money. And when you're the champ, you start thinking about those things. Okay, I'm getting pay-per-view points. This is going to be a really big fight because Pereira came out of nowhere, from kickboxing, and he's going to use that to his advantage, saying, and I beat your number one guy. I beat the champ. Now what you got? And that's going to piss Izzy off. And he's going to want it too, So I don't know if I think it's got to be a finish though. I don't think if it goes to a decision, unless it's really lopsided and nobody gets knocked out or submitted. Pereira's going to have a finish or something very, very close, even to get a unanimous. But if it's a split decision, it's going to go to the champ. It always goes to the champ, and it should. If it's that close, you got to go with the champ because he's the champ, right? So that's my thought. And wow, this is scary.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible you're right. I hope not, but hope I didn't put the curse on Izzy.
All right, my friends. Well, you guys, we want you to like and subscribe. Our views are slowly building, and we appreciate that. Yeah, like and subscribe below or above or wherever you see it. Just do it and share our content. We seem to bring, well, not seem, we bring the same excitement to Knuckle Sandwich MMA every week. And here's the reason why. And Nando, I want you to mention, talk on this too, is because first and foremost, Nando and I are fight fans. Okay. You have some people that are analysts, some people that are newsmakers, whatever the case may be. But you got a couple of guys here who are first and foremost fans of the sport. That's my thought. What do you think, Nando?
Yeah, that's the whole reason I'm here. I was talking to my ex-boss from Detroit. He says, I watch every one of your episodes. I don't watch the whole thing, but I watch it. I go, that's all you gotta do. And you seem to get more and more comfortable, and it becomes better and better banter between us. And I took it as a very big compliment. I was very thankful for it. But yeah, we're just trying to get better. We're trying to give you our insight. And if you're not like a big fan, I'm just trying to let you know the stats and what why you should watch each fight.
Yeah, and that's a good point. But most importantly, it's fun. Just to kind of match wits and see, Nando when I'm watching the fights, a lot of times my wife watches with me, and I'll make commentary before the commentators make the same commentary. Like I'll say something and then right away DC or Cruz or somebody else mimics me and I'm like, see, I told you, man. All she does is roll her eyes. So here we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, we want to thank you guys for watching Knuckle Sandwich MMA. We're glad to have you with us, and we'll continue this because we're just having a blast anyway. And we're not looking to get rich, nothing like that. But if it comes, I'll take the lottery. You bet. Somebody just won a 2 point something billion lottery. Get out of here with that. All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you on the flip side. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you after this fight at UFC 281, Adesanya versus Pereira. It's going to be a great fight. 2 title fights on that card and 13 bouts. Come on, man. It's going to be great. We'll see you on the flip side. Ciao for now.